All right. Good morning, my DoorDash people. As you can see by the thumbnail, just want to do a comparison. This is not normally something that I would do, just because I don't multi-app in the sense. DoorDash has been good for me here in California. It's actually okay, but I wanted to do a review because I signed up for Gopuff just to see what it was about, just to possibly have a backup to DoorDash, maybe if DoorDash is slow or something like that. And granted, I do well with DoorDash, but I was just curious. And they have a location that's right near me, so I signed up for Gopuff. It was actually pretty quick. I think I did it all in one day. It let me sign up, all my information. I picked my location and my 3 best locations that I wanted to switch about that were near. And they ran my background. Everything came back clear, so I was set up by the end of the day. With that said, I scheduled. It allowed me to do my first scheduling for 2 hours. As you can see here. Now, when I went to check all the schedules, all the hours seem to be taken. And I guess with GoPuff, you can schedule blocks of hours, or you can just sign in instantly. And the differences between the two, when you actually schedule blocks of hours, you're getting paid waiting time. So if you don't get any orders, it's something like, if I'm correct, I believe it's like something like 30 cents, something like that, waiting time that you're paid. So at least you're getting something for waiting. It seems like you wait longer than you would for any other gig delivery service, generally speaking. And from my experience with my one order that I'm going to talk about, this company Gopuff is kind of striking. And I seen a couple of videos. I looked it up when I signed up. I seen a couple of videos and I seen what the drivers were making, and it was just kind of like, what? Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, I was seeing like $3 orders, $4 orders, and it was for quite a few miles, and obviously plus tip. So like I said, depending on whether you schedule or you sign in instantly, if you sign in instantly, you're not getting paid waiting time. So in comparisons to DoorDash, and the caveat with this is, and this will be more for me or for people in California at least, because we have Prop 22. And for those that don't know Prop 22, there was a law that passed, a labor law that passed, that said for the people in California with these gig jobs, that you're guaranteed 120% of minimum wage if you've made it per hour. So in short, if I don't make roughly, well, now minimum wage is $20 here, it probably went up, but if I don't make roughly $23 to $26 an hour, any one of these gig delivery companies, they all apply, they have to pay that difference out. So it's to their benefit to give us as many even crappy orders as possible, because whatever we don't make up to $23, $25, $26, those companies have to pay out. So that's the caveat when it comes to doing these gig jobs in California. It's unfortunate that other states are. I think New York came up with something similar. I'm not sure. I don't think it's called Prop 22, but I think they're guaranteed a certain wage as well. Not sure if it works exactly the same. But that's the thing here in California that will balance things out for you, where you'll get a pay adjustment once a week. So with that said, company for company, DoorDash to Gopuff, DoorDash wins this one off rip. Like, right off the top, DoorDash wins this one. So I did a couple of orders. Well, obviously my Gopuff, when I signed in and did my first order, I didn't want to decline it because it was my first order. So I'm just like, I don't even want to start off on a bad path, like Jesus. And the order was $3.44 or something like that, as you can see here. So I accept the order. Mind you, I had waited maybe about 20 to 30 minutes for that order to come up. And it was kind of wild because the way that the address for Gopuff for the customer was keyed in, it was like whatever the address was, it was on Grand Street. So when I clicked Google, it was pretty much, it was like 3 miles away. So I'm like, okay, whatever. But whatever way they typed the address in, Google didn't pick it up right. So it was actually Grand Street in downtown Los Angeles. So from where I was at in Pasadena to downtown Los Angeles, it was like 13 miles, 14 miles. And during that time, it was like 30 to 35 minutes drive time. And that's after I realized, when I pulled up at one house, I realized that, oh, this is not the house. It's giving me a Pasadena address and not Los Angeles. So that's where I figured out that it was way in downtown. I still would have accepted the order just because it was my first order. So I'm like, oh man, I got to drive way to downtown for this $3.44. So I'm hoping that, okay, well, in this case, maybe the person will give me a tip. So I get to downtown, and I get it. Apartment building is the reason why I don't like driving in downtown Los Angeles. I get to the place. I go up. I drop it off, and he tells me that the order is partially filled. Something he canceled. Something the guy canceled. Not something the guy canceled, but there was something wrong with the order. So instead of giving him everything, they made the driver take everything back. So then when they resubmitted the order, they only submitted it partially, so he still didn't get everything he wanted, and it was just a bottle of alcohol. And the Gopuff locations here are Bevmos. For those that don't know, Bevmo is like a liquor store, liquor market type place, pretty big place. And it's more liquor. They probably have some other little items, but it's more liquor. That's what Bevmo is. So I take him the one bottle of liquor, and then I get there, and he's like, oh man, they messed up on my order again. So it's twice now that they messed up on the order, Gopuff. So I dropped the bottle off anyways. I'm like, okay. And he was like, oh man, I'm sorry. And he just said, oh man, I want to tip you. I didn't get all my orders. So I'm like, no problem. I mean, you're already having a bad experience. This guy had just moved down from Northern California, and he's already experiencing bad things. So I'm like, no worries. Don't worry about it or whatever. I understand the situation. I won't make you give me a tip, or of course I can't make them, but I wasn't stressed about no tip. I just wanted to get the order delivered. I wanted to get out of downtown Los Angeles and then possibly work my way back to the Gopuff location where I started from, because you do have to head back. So it's not like DoorDash where you can be anywhere and it just gives you an order. You have to head back to one of the 3 locations that you signed up with, and you have to be within the vicinity. So kind of like the parking lot. So that's like ding number 1. It's like you got to head all the way back. So after that one delivery, and this here is the delivery itself with the pay. Again, no tip, and it being like 15 miles or something like that. In total, I waited an hour, I think, and 6 minutes in total between first signing in and then getting it dropped off, about an hour and 6 minutes for $3.44. And I was like, wow, there is absolutely no way. Now, in comparison to DoorDash, that same $3 type order nets me a drive around the corner that I can do in 3 to 4 minutes, 5 minutes. And that's how I'm able to accept it, because our pay per hour here in my market, and the reason why I had to do my research, I had to figure out the best market to drive in. I figured it out. But my pay per mile really here is anywhere between $3 and $5 a mile. So I have zero issues accepting all my orders that come through, because a $3 order will literally be across the street or around the corner, literally. So, I mean, I can do quite a few of those in an hour, and it'll still be a decent hour. Now, this is my order with DoorDash for the same roughly $3 and some change type order, and there is the distance compared to Gopuff's $3 order at about 15 miles. So between DoorDash and Gopuff, DoorDash wins this off top. And what I speak about that is because the money that I make with DoorDash, obviously, I can cash out instantly. Now with Gopuff, I can cash that money off instantly. But the problem is all the time wasted waiting and all the distance driving is going to be made up in a pay adjustment for Prop 22. So there's still a plus for the Gopuff side of things if you choose to sign in. For me, if I choose to sign in for Gopuff and I choose to deliver for them, there is still a benefit that I might keep in the background. So I won't completely sign off of Gopuff in the sense like I won't delete the app or anything like that. How much I'll actually drive with Gopuff, I don't know, because I make more money with DoorDash. And like I said, this was just something to try. I've never wanted to multi-app. I never wanted to confuse things and make things a mess, trying to drive here, trying to drive there. And it's not looking for more money per se. It was just like an opportunity was there to sign up. I was like, let me see what this company is about. Is it comparable to DoorDash? You just never know. But granted, I make still a great amount of money with DoorDash. For those people that will say that I'm not making the money I make, or I'm complaining or anything like that, I was just bored. I came across this company, not knowing if they were new or not. It seemed like they had been around maybe for a couple of years. I said, oh, let me just try it and see. And this is what I get for trying. But then again, like I said, I'm going to leave Gopuff just in the background. And because of that caveat, because the Prop 22 guarantees me. So for instance, with the Prop 22, this is the breakdown for GoPuffs and even DoorDash. But this is the breakdown. It kind of works across the board, the Prop 22 thing. So even for this order that I did, $3.44, I'm going to end up getting paid and a pay adjustment of maybe $20, $22, $23, somewhere around there on top of the $3.44. So I'm going to end up for that hour, they're going to have to pay me out that money. The problem is I'm not going to get it instantly. So it is the same thing with DoorDash. If I don't make X amount of money per hour with DoorDash, there's a pay adjustment that comes through every week. So that's the difference when you're doing these services. And if you're not making X amount of money per hour, they will cover and make a pay adjustment for the rest of the amount, but you just get it once a week. So it's not money that you can get instantly. So if there's any good thing about doing these gig jobs, independent contractor jobs in California, is a Prop 22, because at least you're guaranteed that wage. You just won't get it every day like you would be able to instant pay it out, because they have to figure out your total hours at the end of the week. And if you're not making a certain amount per hour on average, then they'll adjust out. They have their formula that they figure out, and they'll adjust out and pay you the rest. And that pay adjustment is nice when you do get that deposit, because like you went out and drove and then you see this extra whatever amount, depending on how many hours you drive. It could be a small amount, it could be a huge pay adjustment. But it's based on the miles you drive, the hours you drive, and then just the overall total that you make per hour that they then figure it out. But if I had to put service to service, I would say, generally speaking, Gopuff is on the more trash side, just because they gave me this order for $3.44, and it was 15 miles. And I don't even get offers like that for DoorDash. And when I do get offers that are 15 miles, I'm making on the upward of $30 to $35. That's just instant money that I'll be able to cash out, where in this case with Gopuff, I'm going to have to wait for a pay adjustment that's going to happen once a week. So Gopuff is definitely not there. They're definitely not that busy. I would like to assume they definitely don't make that kind of money to be offering stuff like that. But again, they still have to pay out. So I don't know. Seems like they're probably losing more money than they're making, unless I don't know what their reach is across the country in terms of how many locations they have, or some locations busier than others. I'm just not sure. But there's a reason why I've stuck with DoorDash all these years and haven't veered off to anything else. I mean, I don't want to. This was already one experience. I'm just like, I don't even want to bother even attempting to, because I already know DoorDash sits at the top. I just said, let me just try this. And while I'll leave it in the background, you never know. If I'm getting paid that guaranteed amount, then, I mean, I don't care. I guess I could sign in. As long as I'm not looking for that money to be instant, I know that I'll get it back at some point once during the week. So I just thought I'd share it with you guys. Like I said, there's a few videos out there already on Gopuff. Slightly different the way they operate versus DoorDash. Would I recommend it? Probably not. For the average driver, and depending on if you're in other states or anything like that. And just speaking on that, California compared to other states besides New York, I think, because me and California and New York, I think, are on a similar path of this pay adjustment thing with the labor law. People have to understand that depending on where you live, depending on what your minimum wage is, it's like you can't compare, like what I make here, you can't compare to where it's a state where minimum wage is $10. The minimum wage here is now $20. And we may talk about orders that we accept here, and they'll be for X amount, $15, $20. And then you'll go to some place where minimum wage is $10, sometimes under $10. And those same people are saying that I want an order that's $15 and $20. And the reason why the pay may be different across the states is based on your minimum wage. So it's like, just because you hear somebody makes X amount of money per hour, per order in this state, doesn't mean that's what you're going to get in your state, because it's based off your living wages. It's based on what your living wage is, and based on the cost of living in those states. Here in California, it's at least very expensive that people say. I've been here my whole life, so I don't see any different. I've never went any place else to know any different. Yeah, there may be places that are cheaper to live. I've never took that route because maybe I leave California. We have a lot here, a lot of entertainment, a lot of things to do. It's busy. A lot of companies are out here. There's a slew of things, a slew of benefits. Now, do we take it for granted? Yes, we do take it for granted here in California, the things we have, but it's just because we have them here. It's just like probably in your state, you have things there that you probably take for granted that you have, but because you live there. But we're right here along the coast. We have the beaches. Are they the greatest beaches? Probably not. But we have them. We have a bunch of amusement. I mean, it is at least Southern California. It's just, it's nice. Like I said, I've never experienced anything less than, so I'm used to it. And when I need to make more money, I figure out how to make more money. Whether I get a better job or a higher paying job, I just keep working it out to where I'm fine and I'm okay. But it could be a struggle if you're here trying to make, and you're making minimum wage. So in comparisons to another state where your minimum wage may be $8, $9, $10, and I'm sure there are some states out there, it's like you can't expect to have that same kind of pay, because they go off the cost of living there, which everything is going to be less. Everything's cheaper. Gas is cheaper, this and that, this and that, this and that. So I get a lot of people that will complain about that, comparing one to the other. So like I said, because it's so expensive here, I don't know how the labor law passed. I mean, obviously they voted in, it passed, so we get this guaranteed amount, which is nice. But don't be mad at us here in California and or New York, because it is a lot more expensive than, more than likely, than where you are currently living, in terms of your cost of living. So when we report to you guys that our gas is $5 to $6 and $7 a gallon, your gas may be still $2 and $3. It's like, think about that stuff. When your food is not as expensive as ours, your restaurants, your groceries, all that stuff is not as expensive as ours. People don't really speak on that part. But they just say that, oh, California is so expensive and this and that, but then they complain when they find out how much money we're making. So you have to understand both sides of that, or whatever it is, when it comes to things. But this was just like a review that I did want to make, just for anybody that may be interested in Gopuff. And like I said, you have your benefits for the people here in California, possibly New York. Don't quote me on that. That'd be something you'd have to look into, what their guaranteed thing is there in New York. But I think it's something similar to California. But it still can be beneficial for people in California, people outside of California, and that you don't have these labor law for guaranteed wages. I probably wouldn't even waste my time with Gopuff, because if they're throwing out orders like that where they're 10 or 15, 20 miles for $3 and $4, that's when I could see there being a further problem or issue. So don't even waste your time, especially considering the fact that you have to drive right back to the location. You don't just to get to float around and pull the next order from the next restaurant like DoorDash. You have to actually go back to one of the 3 physical locations that you actually signed up for. So they have some slight differences. They're not exactly the same in that sense. Our delivery service, And of course, if you want to have all the options you want to make money, go for what you know. But this was just something that I did want to report. Like I said, it's something that I normally don't do, and I told myself I wasn't going to do, but I did it anyways. And this is the reason why I say that I don't, and why I just stick with DoorDash for now, because this makes DoorDash look amazing. And like I said, I still make great money here, for those that are wondering. I'm not complaining about making less money or anything like that. It was just something I was bored, and I just tried it, and that was it. And it's just pretty much gonna sit. I'd have to be really desperate to sign back in to Gopuff at this point. But I can appreciate them trying a company to try to make themselves a brand. It's just not working out. They're nowhere near the marketing aspect of DoorDash and per se Uber Eats. So with that said, I will leave you guys at that. I apologize for the video being so long, but I did want to break down the reasons why I felt like Gopuff is on the more crappier side. But for me and for people in California, there still could be a benefit due to the guaranteed wages. It's just a matter of, is it money that you need to make that you can instantly cash out versus money that you can wait for a weekly payout because of the adjustments. Those are going to be really the prime differences for people here in California. So with that said, your boy C-Moto, I will leave you guys at that. I just took a little time out from my driving just to make the video, just so I could focus. I really hate recording while I'm driving or whatever it is. It's like, now I'm trying to make sure I look at you guys while driving. So before I start my next dash hour, I just said, let me take a few minutes out and do this video. So if you guys have any questions, concerns, any thoughts about Gopuff or DoorDash, or the comparison between the two, any information on Prop 22 or whatever it is, I pretty much know it all now at this point. You can like, share, subscribe if you like to. If not, I appreciate you watching the video. Until next time, your boy C-Moto, you know what it is. I'll see you guys next time.